Love it or hate it, Actions and Stuff is one of the most popular resource packs in the history of Minecraft, taking the world by absolute storm as nobody had really seen a pack that so fluidly updates the animations of the game. Of course, Actions and Stuff isn't just an animation pack, it's a vanilla plus resource pack, adding tons of unique things to the game in the form of 3D foods, updated textures, and really cool special effects you don't find anywhere else. Actions and Stuff is Bedrock exclusive. However, there are a ton of packs that are able to bring that Actions and Stuff feel to Java Edition, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're nearing 200,000 subscribers, so subscribe if you enjoy the videos, and let's jump into this. What you're watching on screen right now is Hold My Items. This mod specifically covers the first-person animations that Actions and Stuff brings to Minecraft by implementing its own. It features brand new 3D buckets and fish models like with the axolotl. There's even item switching animations, and items will change look depending on where you are, like this piston extending in your hand or campfire extinguishing underwater. We even have item inspect animations, which are super cool, alongside custom sword animations, axe animations, pickaxe, and many more. Next up, we have what is probably the sole reason that Actions and Stuff exists today, Fresh Animations. While Actions and Stuff features player animations among other things, Fresh Animations was really a first of its kind when it came to animations in general, as it smoothened out all the mob animations in the game, making your world feel much more alive than before. Fresh Animations even comes with an extension pack which adds things like animations to opening and closing your chest, as well as animations whenever you're rowing your boat. It also can add details to some of the mobs in your game, like with chickens, pigs, and sheep, and can even give emissive eyes to certain mobs as well. This pack, unlike Hold My Items, is a resource pack and not a mod, although it will require mods to run like entity model features and texture features. This is mainly because resource packs work differently on Java than Bedrock, so there are a few more hurdles, which I guess is the trade-off by not needing to buy this stuff from the Bedrock marketplace. Now that we've covered first-person animations as well as mob animations, let's go over some of the player animations. Now, the pack that you're watching me use right now is currently not available to the public. This is an early build, but it's an add-on for Fresh Animations by the creator, which is called the Fresh Animations Player Animations add-on. That's a lot of animations. And as you'll notice, this pack has some pretty fluid animations right now, even though it's basically in pre-alpha. We have a nice running animation, a walking backwards animation, a crouching animation, which looks really clean. I really like how this one was done. And yeah, I think it looks really good so far. Again, this isn't a super early build, which you can access through the creator's Ko-fi, but I really do like it a lot. And hopefully whenever it comes out, it'll look even better and a lot more people can get their hands on it. Now, I know not everybody might be able to get their hands on the pack I just mentioned, so next up I want to talk about Fresh Moves. Now, this pack does implement its own animations, albeit they're not quite as fluid as the one I just talked about, but this pack is pretty popular. If you're not a fan of the regular player animations you're seeing right now, you may be a fan of the expressions that come with this pack. As you'll notice, my eyes look around, I can blink. If I look downward, my eyelids will go down. If I look upwards, I'll look really surprised. This is a very, very good pack, albeit, like I said, the player animations themselves could definitely use work, but I love thus far what the creators of this pack have been able to accomplish. Lastly, whenever it comes to player animations, I want to talk about Not Enough animations because this one is extremely vanilla friendly. It does a couple of things. As you'll see, whenever I hold a map, I'll actually hold it with both hands out in front of me. Whenever I eat food, just like in Bedrock and the console editions, you actually bring it up to your face. If you were to get into a boat, you'll actually notice that you move your arms with the paddles instead of them just being completely still. It also has certain items that will actually hold out in front of you. So if you're using shaders like me and you have a torch in your hand, it'll actually hold it out in front of you like you're trying to light the way. We also have ladder animation. So if we go and come over here, you'll notice that I actually grab onto the ladder with my feet and my hands instead of just, staring at a wall. So that's pretty nice. And there's also item swap animations as well. So you can swap the items between your hands in third person. Looks really nice. And lastly, we also have a horse animation. So if you're on horseback, it looks like you're actually grabbing the reins as you're riding on the horse, which is a nice touch. I just fell in water. In the most recent Actions and Stuff update, we saw a change to all of the baby animals in Minecraft. Now, Java has had this for a while now, but I wanted to mention Baby Animals Remastered, as it has done the same thing. It's even updated to 1.21.5, so it includes all of the new mob variants as well, but unfortunately, this pack doesn't have fresh animation support at the time of recording this video. Hopefully in the future though, because these look amazing. One part of Actions and Stuff I feel like goes overlooked is actually how clean the armor stands look in that pack, and with the Blocky Armor Stands resource pack, we can of course bring this exact same style to Java Edition, and this of course will also be reflected in the smithing table UI, which looks really nice, but I'm a very big fan of the way that these look because they kind of look like target dummies, so you can use them multi-purposely, but they of course do look good with armor on them. And speaking of which, we can also pair this with the Armory Conglomery pack, because if you didn't know, Actions and Stuff actually does have its unique armor designs if you are using the 16x16 version, and if you do want to replicate something that's very similar in style but in Java Edition, then the Armory Conglomery pack definitely pairs very well with it. These next couple of packs are going to tackle 3D items specifically. This one is called Actually 3D Stuff, which by the way, I think the creator watches my videos because I noticed that he took away the 3D tool models from the pack and is going to make it into a separate thing, which makes me super happy. So if you do watch my videos, hey, I love your stuff. Anyways, what this pack does is, as you would imagine, adds a bunch of 3D models to a lot of the items in the game. So as you can see here, I'm actually holding a bone. And by the way, I'm using hold my items with this pack because they kind of go hand in hand. Here is the brush. We have some redstone dust, ominous trial key, magma cream, a diamond, breeze rod, nether quartz, and an echo shard. And let's go ahead and grab this next group of things right here. As you can see, this is what bone meal looks like. We have the iron ingot, the brush again. We have the Totem of Undying, which looks really nice. I like how it's partly see-through so it doesn't take up your whole screen. We have a book, trial key, emerald, snowball, which goes great with the throwing animations, and we also have the glow ink sac. And then lastly, we have the Eye of Ender, which we can go and throw over there. It keeps its 3D model. We have the fireworks, which look really, really good. Probably one of my favorites. We have the saddle, blue bundle, flint and steel. We also have the fire charge, name tag, lead, as well as shears. And there is a lot more. Now, this pack is in alpha, which is very, very, very nice because there is just so much more work that is going to be done here, which I'm a very big fan of because this pack is already looking incredible and I'm a very big fan of it. For our next pack, we have a pack called Fresh Food. Now, this currently does not have Hold My Items compatibility yet, but the creator is currently working on it. And as you can see, this is going to change all of the models of the food in the game into 3D models like we see in Actions and Stuff. Also, apologies for those of you guys that watched my previous video. There are a couple repeat packs in this video, and that's mainly because I got the idea for this video after recording that one. So you guys may be seeing some packs that are a little bit familiar, but for those new to the channel, I hope you guys have been enjoying the packs thus far. And yeah, Fresh Food is absolutely amazing. Really, really big fan of this. And even if you aren't trying to make your game similar to Actions and Stuff, this is just a general good one to have, as I think it does a lot of really cool stuff and really does have a vanilla feel to it. Moving on to a pack by the same creator, we have Fresh Flowers and Plants. And as you can see, whenever I am holding a plant, you'll notice that it's actually on a little mini block, and you can also see some of the roots. If I have the wildflowers right here, you'll notice that they're in a basket. The warped roots also have, the warped netherrack. We have the crimson roots here, a large fern. We also have seagrass, which you can see is inside of this little water enclosure right here to make sure it stays alive. We have the azalea, crimson fungus, as well as short dry grass, among a bunch of other things. It just makes a lot of these right here, a lot of the natural blocks look a bit better when they're in your hand. And again, this is very similar to the last one. Hold My Items compatibility is coming in the future. It's not quite out just yet, but it will be soon. So yeah, this pack is definitely a great one to keep an eye on. You guys know that I'm a big fan of the creeper retextures that are around in the community, and Actions and Stuff is actually no stranger to retexturing the creeper, so I decided that I would go ahead and include one for this video, and this one is called Freshly Creepers, and it is very reminiscent of the Actions and Stuff one, and this of course is Fresh Animations compatible, so you'll notice it actually has some smooth animations, it moves its eyes around and everything in between, and this is a really, really good Fresh Animations centric creeper retexture, and it looks just in line with the Actions and Stuff aesthetic for their creeper retexture. Another actions and stuff retexture is actually for the bed sheets with different colored beds, and with the fancy beds resource pack, we can of course add this to Java. And as far as I know, this resource pack has existed long before I even started YouTube, so this one has been around for quite a minute, and it gets the job done. I mean, these textures look absolutely fantastic, and if you're somebody that wants to freshen up your beds, then this is definitely the pack to do so. Next up for the video, I'm going to talk about two packs that cover fairly underrated portions of actions and stuff. The first one is Enchantment Outlines. Now this one is slightly different from the one I covered last video, as the outlines are much thinner and more sharp. This one, in my opinion, represents actions and stuff the closest, so I do think it looks really nice. And essentially, like I said, it's going to give an enchantment outline to your tools that are just like actions and stuff, which in my opinion is a very underrated part of that pack. I think the enchantment outlines look incredibly clean, and I love the way they look on this pack here in Java Edition. Now, the other pack, I'm going to need to find a skeleton around here. Aha, there's one. I could see him really easily because of the enchanted bow. Now, this pack is called Fresh Skeleton Physics, and essentially what it does is it's going to give us, oh, there's one right there. It's going to give us a death animation for the skeletons whenever we kill them, which another underrated portion of actions and stuff, in my opinion, is the fact that mobs do have a death animation. And I do hope that we get more of these in the future for other Java Edition packs, because I think the death animations look really cool in actions and stuff. But as you can see, as we kill the skeletons, they'll just kind of crumble and fall on the ground. We can get an even better look here. There we go. And it just kind of, you know, allows them to crumble into a bunch of different pieces. So again, a fairly underrated part of actions and stuff that I'm a very big fan of, and I'm glad these packs exist for Java. Now, I know a lot of people that run actions and stuff also run the realistic biomes add-on, so these next couple of packs are mainly going to tackle things that are going to add special effects to your game, with this first pack being called Subtle Effects. And as you can imagine, it's going to add a lot of different subtle effects. As you can see, with these villagers sleeping right here, you'll notice these Z's that are going to pop up above their heads. You'll also notice these little firefly bugs that gather around the lanterns whenever you have them placed. There's also brand new smoke particles that exist as well, as you can see on this torch. And whenever you're riding in a minecart, you'll actually see sparks that'll come off of the minecart making contact with the rails, and you can even pair this with the minecart with wheels resource pack to have it be even closer to what we see with actions and stuff. You can even get things like these little magical glows that appear around a lathe. You'll even have special dust that appears off of glowstone inside of the nether, and there's an entire wiki showcasing all of the stuff that special effects is going to add to your game, as there is simply too much to showcase. So this is definitely the all-in-one mod if you want to get as many subtle effects in your game as possible, and it's completely configurable in the mod menu. For our next effect mod, I noticed with realistic biomes, there's actually some really cool weather effects that you can get in your game. So with the particle rain mod, we can actually get a lot of that in Java Edition as well. Now you'll notice I'm not exactly in a rainy biome, but that's not going to stop particle rain from doing something great. See, whenever you are in arid biomes, using particle rain is actually going to give you these little sandstorms where it even throws around some bushes slash tumbleweeds as you are wandering around. This looks fantastic, but this of course is only one piece of particle rain and just one little bit of the effects that it can do. Because if we come to an area like a forest biome, you'll actually notice that the rain looks a little bit different. It's a little less blinding, it's not bright blue, and it actually comes down at an angle. And a lot of this is fully customizable. You can even add ground layer fog, you can add water puddles that can appear. There's a lot that goes on with this mod, and even so in the snowy biomes. Because as you can see, the snow just looks so much better with this mod on, and you'll also notice that I'm actually breathing frosty breath right now because of the subtle effects mod that I showcased earlier. But yeah, this pack is just fantastic. It does a lot for the weather in Java Edition, and this mod is just a must-have regardless of if you're trying to make your game look like actions and stuff. I'm sure many of you guys have already seen this mod, but somehow I actually haven't talked about it yet on the channel, and that is called the Explosive Enhancement mod. And it kind of does exactly what you think the name would imply, as it's going to make the explosion look a lot more animated and a lot more detailed. Again, not quite sure how I haven't talked about this mod just yet on the channel, but it definitely does give off an actions and stuff feel with a more detailed explosion. Also, I'm so sorry, turtles. I don't mean this. Now for our last pack of the video, I actually have a resource pack called FOGULOUS. Now with the Realistic Biomes add-on, you actually notice that you'll get a fairly thick atmospheric fog while running it. And this is going to replicate that to a T, and in my opinion, much better. Now this is only going to work if you're not using shaders. If you are using shaders, then your shaders are going to override it. But the greatest thing about this resource pack is that it's very biome specific. As you'll notice, as we're in this little taiga biome, you'll see the fog looks like this. But if we were to go over into a pale garden, you actually notice that the fog is going to get much thicker and a lot more dark, depending again on which biome we're on. So if we're in a beach biome, for example, the fog is going to look nice and cheery and bright blue. If we're in the pale garden, things are going to be slightly different. If we go ahead and move on over to this roofed forest, you'll yet again see that the fog is going to completely change, and you'll notice that it actually goes out farther depending on which biome we're in as well. So this is a really cool resource pack, probably one of the most underrated resource packs out there, because if you play Minecraft without shaders, then this is the best one around to try to get better atmospherics. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching today's video. This probably didn't cover literally every single actions and stuff feature imaginable for Java Edition, but I feel like this is a pretty good video to give you guys most of the important stuff that comes from actions and stuff if you're trying to replicate that feel here in Java Edition. Of course, I do believe that actions and stuff in general is much better overall. However, Java Edition, we're slowly creeping up on you. But guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of these packs down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.